If you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2013, you may recall the Dragon Lure format that dominated around that time and were either traumatized or developed a case of Stockholm Syndrome. Well, either way, the boys are coming back to town and they've got some new members they'd like to introduce you to. Your wallet isn't gonna be ready for this. What's going on, my friend? This is SynchroGuy, and today I'm here to talk about the brand new Dragon Ruler cards that got revealed not too long ago. How funny is it that shortly after that, all the Dragon Rulers got unlimited in both the OCG and the TCG, that new support for them gets revealed. Like, it's like Konami was playing this all along or something. But anyway, these new cards are going to be great additions to the Dragon Lair archetype. So much so that they could very well be the chase cards from the Alliance Inside set. So, yeah. I have seen a lot of different builds thanks to these new cards. Like, I've seen pure builds, Dragon Maid builds, Blue Eyes builds, even Tenpai. If you're not all that familiar with the Dragon Ruler archetype, let me give you the quick rundown and brief history about them. But before we do that, don't forget to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ding that notification bell so you can get more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. The Dragon Ruler archetype is perhaps one of the biggest and most popular archetypes that ever exists in the game's history. The Dragon Ruler archetype is a series of dragon monsters that are composed of each of the four elements: Earth, Wind, Water, and Fire, both with a baby version and an adult version. The Dragon Rulers were first released in the Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy set, and they each came in common and rare versions, so they were very easy to get, but they soon quickly dominated the metagame. Now, each of the adult versions had 3 effects, while the baby versions just summoned out the adult versions. Anyway, the adult versions each had a discard effect, a special summon effect, and a search when banished effect. However, they each have a restriction where if you use one of these effects, you cannot use the other 2 that same turn. This made it a bit tricky for players to use, that is, if you were very inexperienced with playing the game. But if you have the experience, then you can unleash this deck's true potential. This is perhaps why so many players enjoy the Dragon Lure format, because you have to be mindful and pick the right effect to use in this scenario. In other words, if you were to play a Dragon Lure mirror match, then the better player will be rewarded for playing their cards correctly. The Dragon Lures were of course eventually all banned at a later date, but they are now back at 3 copies each. At first it didn't seem like they would really do much given how the game has evolved since 2013, but now thanks to these brand new cards they are getting, that could very well change. So let's take a look at these brand new cards and we'll see what they bring to the table. First up, we have Spector, Dragon Ruler of Rays, and his text reads: you can discard this card and 1 light or dragon monster. Add 2 Dragon Ruler monsters from your deck to your hand, except Spector, Dragon Ruler of Rays. You can banish this card and 1 light or dragon monster from your graveyard, then target 1 Chasmatis, Dragon Ruler of Auroras in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use 1 Spector, Dragon Ruler of Rays effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this guy lets you search any 2 Dragon Rulers that you need. That is awesome. So with this, you can either search out like the baby versions or the adult versions. Again, whatever Dragon Rulers that you need. You just need to send it along with either a light or dragon monster. But in Dragon Ruler deck, that is not too hard to accomplish. So yeah, and plus, whether your Dragon Rules are in the graveyard, that's completely fine, because that's what they want. So like, whether it's the adult versions, they're cool chilling in your graveyard because they can just summon themselves. Or heck, you just fill your graveyard for dragons that you could use have them been banished for the adult version. So yeah, like, this is a really good card. And of course, its other effect to special summon out a specific Dragon Lure monster, which is one of the new Xyz monsters we'll cover in just a bit. So for this guy, you're definitely gonna play this guy at 3 copies. Like, why would you not play this guy at 3? Like, seriously. Like, to search 82 Dragon Lure monsters, that is hard to pass up. Like, why would you pass that up? Just anyway, next up we have Nebulous, Dragon Ruler of Shadows, and his text reads: you can discard this card and 1 dark or dragon monster, then target 2 of your banished Dragon Ruler monsters with different attributes, except Nebulous, Dragon Ruler of Shadows. Special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. You can banish this card and 1 dark or dragon monster from your graveyard, then target 1 Eclepsis, Dragon Ruler of Woes in your graveyard. Special summon it. You could only use one Nebulous Dragon Ruler of Shadows effect per turn, and only once that turn. Alright, so with this guy, you get to special summon and back any of your banished Dragon Ruler monsters so long as they're different attributes. And that is really cool because now we don't have to worry too much if the adult versions get like banished, because we can then just special summon them. Yeah, it's like we just banish them to get their search effect. Like with Nebulous here, we can then just special summon them back out to the field. That is awesome. And of course, just like the Spector, the Light Dragon Ruler, you can special summon back one of the other Dragon Ruler Xyz monsters we'll cover in just a bit. So for a Dragon Ruler deck, you're going to play this guy as either, well, 0 to 2 copies. Like, from what I've seen, you really don't need to play this guy high. Like, you can easily just, like, there are plenty of other ways to special out like, your banished Dragon Rulers now, thanks to these other new cards. It's just kind of there if you need it, so it's like, it just depends what kind of build you're going for exactly. Like, if you're playing pure build, like, maybe you throw at least one copy of this guy in, but if you're going for any other builds, it's like, it's up to debate. You could choose to play it, but you probably won't need it properly. Next up, we have Chasmatis, Dragon Ruler of Auroras, and his text reads, 2 level 7 dragon monsters. Quick effect. You can send 1 level 7 Dragon Ruler monster from your deck to the graveyard and detach 1 material from this card. This effect becomes that sent monster's effect that activates by discarding itself. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card's own position is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can set yourself 1 level 7 Dragon Ruler monster from your graveyard or banishment. You can only use each effect of Chasmatis, Dragon Ruler of Auroras once per turn. Oh yeah, this guy he is really gonna be nice for this deck. So he has a quick effect that allows you to send any Dragon Ruler main deck monster that, well, the adult version specifically, to the graveyard, and then you can use their in-hand effect as part of its effect. So that means adult Dragon Rulers you can send off. You can either send Blaster for a pop effect, Redux for a Monster Reborn effect for any monster, send Tempest to search any dragon monster that you need, or send Tidal to mill any monster. That is awesome. And the fact that it's a quick effect, that means you could possibly disrupt your opponent in a way. So that is really cool. And also, if he gets, if your opponent somehow manages to get rid of it, he can special summon out one of your other Dragon Ruler monsters. So that is really cool. So if you're going to play this guy in a Dragon Ruler related deck, definitely 2 copies. Like, he's like that hard to pass up. 2 copies at the very least. Like, you don't want to, you of course not 3, because you want to have some room for some other, rank 7 Xyz monster plays, or even Lynx plays, or heck, if you're playing some tuners, maybe some Synchro plays too. So yeah, you at 2 copies at the very least. Next we have Eclepsis, Dragon Ruler of Woes. His text reads, 2 level 7 dragon monsters. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Dragon Ruler monster in your graveyard or banishment. Special summon 1 level or rank 7 Dragon Ruler monster that mentioned on it from your deck or banishment. Then shuffle that target into the deck. When your opponent activates a spell/trap card or effect, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card. Negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. You can only use each effect of Eclepsis, Dragon Ruler of Woes once per turn. So on summon, you get to special summon just back any of your Dragon Ruler monsters that are either in your deck or banishment. That is awesome. Now, of course, you do have to target the baby rulers that, mentions it. But still, it's that's fine, because we will probably play the baby rulers anyway, because they special summon out the adult versions, and we want to spam the board and Dragon Ruler related deck. Not to mention, you still have to shuffle the baby ruler back into the deck. That's definitely good to keep your resources in check, and of course keep your plays flowing. That is awesome. But I think the cream on top is that he is a spell and trap negator. That is awesome, and he negates and banishes the card, which is even 10 times better. That is so cool. So if you're going to be playing this guy in a Dragon Ruler related deck, definitely 2 copies. He is amazing. Just again, having a spell trap negate is really good, so that means you're protecting yourself from stuff like on turn 1 imperms on your opponent, so don't have to worry about that, or even some of the dominus traps. But even that doesn't have it, you can then use it just during your opponent's turn. And again, he just helps you he is awesome. Again, you definitely want to play this guy in Dragon Ruler related deck. Next up we have Disaster Dragon Ruler of Paranormalities. That last word is quite the interesting combination. Anyway, his text reads, 2 rank 7 monsters. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can target up to 4 level 7 Dragon Ruler monsters in your graveyard and or banishment. attach them to this card as a material. Then you can banish all monsters your opponent controls in their graveyard with the same attributes as the monsters attached to this card. You can only use this effect of Disaster, Dragon Wheel of Paranormalities once per turn. If this card has light, dark, earth, water, fire, and wind Dragon Lure monsters as material, it gains 4600 attacking effects, also is unaffected by other cards and effects. Oh my god, he is. Oh, he is like the ultimate board wipe for monsters. Just, oh my god. So, on summon, you just like attach this all the dragon rulers attached to it, and then you just banish every single monster in your opponent's possession. Like, oh my god. And of course, when he has all the dragon rulers of every attribute attached to him, he just becomes the 4600 unaffected beater. Oh my god. Oh, you have not lived till you see this effect in action. Just, oh my god. Oh. So yeah, this guy he's your ultimate boss monster for the Dragon archetype now. Just freaking hell. Oh. Alright, so yeah, I don't think there's much else to say, but in terms of like, if you're gonna be playing this guy, well, you really could just play like 0 to 1 copies. I know I was making such a big deal about this guy earlier, but it was like, it just depends on like the kind of build. Like, if you're gonna be playing a pure Dragon Ruler build, definitely play this guy at least 1 copy. He's too good to pass up in pure build. But if you're gonna play like any other variants, he's kind of like, it's like kind of optional, mostly because, well, he requires 2 rank 7 monsters. That means they have to be rank 7. You need to use 2 Xyz monsters that are rank 7. You can't just use not like just any regular level 7 monster. So with that in mind, it just becomes just like it's like kind of there for some builds, because they probably don't want to have to focus on that so much. They want to focus on probably either just spamming out like other monsters or whatever kind of build. Yeah, so it's like, if you're playing a pure build, definitely play at least 1 copy of this guy. But if you're playing any other variant, it's just like you can play him if you want to, but you could probably get away without playing him. But still, if you can play this guy, I say give it a shot, because again, he is like the ultimate boss monster, and just oh yeah, I think it would be very nice if you can play him. Then finally, we have the brand new quick play style Dragocalamity, and this card reads: special summon 1 Dragon monster from your hand, graveyard, or banishment. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can Xyz summon 1 Dragon monster using only Dragon monsters you control as material. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of your banished Dragon monsters with different attributes. Return them to the graveyard. You can only use 1 Dragocalamity effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this card gets you back any Dragon Lure monster that you need. So in other words, this card just can help either extend your plays or just like help keep you around if needed. But the other cool thing is that you get to Xyz summon immediately after this effect resolves. So that means if you got another Dragon Lure monster on your field when you special summon out the one with this card, then you could just Xyz summon into one of your light or dark Dragon Lure monsters. So that is really cool. And its graveyard effect to put back any of your Dragon monsters that are banished into your graveyard. That is really cool, and can just help keep fueling your plays and make sure you still have plays to make every turn. That is cool. So in a Dragon deck, you would probably play this card by like, say, like 0 to 1 copies, mostly because like it just depends on like what kind of build you're going for. Like if you're playing like a very like gas build, you mainly want to play this. You probably want to play this card. But if you're playing something kind of closer to mid range, or like you're playing hand traps or something, then you probably don't need to play this card, because again, it's like, just really depends. But probably don't play more than 1, because again, it's like you got playing ways to spend the board, so it's like you don't want to clog up your hand too much, which is like probably too much, unless of course again you're playing just your own gas, that is. So with all these brand new cards for the Dragon Ruler archetype, I would potentially see Dragon Rulers become meta relevant once again. In my opinion, I think they have a shot. Like, it's not uncommon for old archetype deck to get new support and then become meta relevant again. Like, I mean, we've seen this happen with like Shadows. Like Shadows was one of the best deck back in 2014 to 2015, and after they fell off the meta game for a while and then got new support back in 2020 with their structured deck, they became meta relevant once again. Now, this does not guarantee the same thing's going to happen with Dragon Rulers, but it does show that an older archetype can become meta relevant once again if they get the right support. And I think that's what we're potentially seeing here. So I think Dragon Rulers could potentially become meta relevant once again, but only time will tell, so don't mark my words on it. Thank you so much for watching, my friend. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the new Dragon Ruler archetype moving forward and what they could possibly bring to the future of this game. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have /had an awesome day today.